Hi.
Hi. I'm
We love
Nancy Nance.
and I'm
We're
Daphne
live.
McKenna.
And we're late.
And that's okay because life happens. It's all
Oh
good.
my gosh. Right? Like,
Life
here we are all organized and shit. And then we realize that we are so in the wrong room.
and now we're in the right
Maybe
room.
that's why the universe was falling apart, was because we were on the wrong show.
We had
Oh,
We
next
weren't
week's
on
show.
Beyond Time for Life. We were on next week's show.
Well, here I am.
So
Early.
now we're on the right show. It's all good.
Early.
And it's working.
Here
We
I
were
am
on
early.
next week's show. And here we're.
Woo! Early.
Oh my God. It was funny because when we started this, Daphne said to me, she goes, "Do I know Shauna?" And I'm like, "No." Don't know Shauna. Haven't met Shauna. Nope.
And that's
This
okay
is
because I
a
just
brand
roll
new
with it.
person. A brand new person. And there's
Nancy
such a
makes
beauty
friends
in that.
everywhere.
Nancy's got friends in low places.
Mm-hmm. I've only met Nancy technically once.
At her wedding.
Twice, actually.
Beautiful.
First time I met her was the day of my wedding.
There you go. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I just showed up and crashed the party. God, that freaked a lot of people out, didn't it?
She was invited.
I was invited, yes. But that really freaked people out. That empty pause of space where people were like waiting for the punchline, and I was the punchline, right?
No, you were not.
Well, we have this virtual friendship, and when Shauna started sharing the beauty of everything that had transpired, I was just in love with everything. Everything. Every single part of what had conspired to bring love together.
Please share.
Yeah, Shauna, so give us a little bit of an idea as to what happened that brought
the love of my life into my life.
Yeah.
Well, I was decently happy, we'll call it that, as a single person, never married, no children, at 51 years old, and went on vacation with a good friend of mine to Mexico. And the minute we stepped out of the bus to the resort, I saw the man of my dreams, and he tells me that he saw me and took one look at me and thought, there's the woman of my dreams, the wife of my dreams. I prayed for this wife. Blonde hair, blue eyes, curvy, and Canadian. That wasn't on his list, but kind, and obviously until he didn't know that till we started chatting. But yeah, it just we clicked. We are soulmates.
That's beautiful.
Took a long time for him to be put right in my path.
Good things come to those who wait, though, right?
100%. My mom always told me
all of
that
the things that had to fall apart.
Oh, totally.
All the things that had to fall apart.
Absolutely.
What were you going to say about your mom?
Oh, my mom always told me she thought I'd meet some guy in the meat department in Safeway, but didn't quite work that way. But no, Mexico on vacation, and it's when you least expect it, and everyone had said that for years, when you least expect it, and that's the last thing you want to hear. But when you believe that your person's out there, and also the fact that I felt like I was in my lowest part of my life, and he came along.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and Daphne are nodding at the exact same time, because it is in those deepest lows. Oh my goodness, so often it's called the
Dark night
valley,
of the
no,
soul.
shadow, dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the dark night of the soul.
Mhm.
And it is that dark.
Yeah.
It's when it's like you kind of just give up hope, and it's that Jesus take the wheel scenario.
Mhm.
We don't necessarily sing it like that song. I can't remember who sings that song. It's a country gal.
I'll figure it out.
Carrie Underwood.
There you go.
There you go. You're on my team for the karaoke sing-along.
Yeah.
Name that tune. Carrie, oh my gosh.
I win those
I'm the
competitions
heavy metal
often,
rock and roll kind of gal. But
Yeah.
I've listened to that song. I've listened to that song, all of those heartbreak songs.
Mhm.
And I think the heartbreak songs, the angels really tune into that channel.
Yeah. Well, and
Because our hearts are weeping.
I have someone in my life who's a medium and spiritual guide, and he told me when I told him the story, he's like, he's your soulmate, 100%. You two are going to get married. You're going to live in a country that starts with G. And I was like, what? That makes no sense. And literally that same night, we were talking, Rogelio and I were talking on the phone, and he's like, would you ever want to live in Germany? And I was like, what? Like, you just, unless, yeah.
I was thinking Guatemala.
I know, right?
I had no clue.
But that's what I was thinking too, but Germany? And I mean, he's turning non-believers into believers on how this whole, like, how our relationship has, like, flourished, blossomed, flourished, come about. Like, people are truly put in your path for many reasons and when it's meant to be.
Well, and you know, Shauna, you say that, and I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. It says, I don't believe in meaningless coincidences. Like Nancy, when you and I met years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. We met at a vision board workshop
that neither of us wanted to be at, but we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to only meet first time the weekend. And to only meet the first time the weekend of the wedding was like absolutely incredible. But yet I felt like I've known you my whole life.
Yeah, there was that.
Mm-hmm.
There really, really was. It was just so beautiful. And I remember when I spoke at the reception and I'm like, okay, I got this. And I'm like, right? Like just digging my toes into the ground to say the words that meant so much without completely turning into a wet rag. And that's what love speaks. Love speaks in a way that is easy.
Mm-hmm. And the bond that was brought that night too, right? With the bouquets and all those things, right? Like the connections you had with other family members of mine, and like even my maid of honor, and right, like the story just keeps going
All
and
of
going.
them. And it really, really does. And then the relationships ebb and flow. They ebb and flow into fantastic and furious. Some of our most challenging moments are in the madness of life. And Daphne, you've been married for?
Well, it's 2023. I've been married for 23 years. I've been with Doug for 25 total.
Wow.
So
yeah,
amazing.
And they never fight.
I got married when I was 12.
I did not.
And they never fight. They never fight.
You know what? We don't actually. We've had one fight. We've had one fight.
Yeah. I mean, they have disagreements and discussions and moments whereby there's just that failure to, what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a failure to communicate, because it's hard. It's hard to be a human, and then our human friends say things like, don't worry about it.
But yeah, I mean, Doug and I, we talk. We talk lots, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, we don't fight because we don't get anywhere if we fight. We learned that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
25 years is a long bloody time. But I'm grateful. I mean, I'm grateful. I love my husband. I love my house. Like I love my life. I'm so grateful for all of the wonderful things that I have in my life. And I'm grateful that, you know, the synchronicities of my life have brought me to where I am.
Yeah. What would you be without your tools, though?
Me? I wouldn't. I have no idea. But I mean, that again, you know, going through what I've gone through in my life, you know what I mean? I've gathered these tools to help me, like these beautiful lasers that are behind us, sending us a miracle vibration right now to everybody watching this podcast, or now or later on replay or whatever. But all of the tools that I use for myself, I share with others. And I mean, I'm grateful for them. And they came to me at the, like we were talking before we started the show, Nancy. You know, it's wonderful how everything in my life has happened to bring me to where I am right here, right now. And
well, and I think that that's where the next question comes in. That calm, quiet little voice that reassures everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
The money's going to show up to pay the bills. The right people are going to come into your life at the right time. The moments where the madness is so incredibly just, we've all had it. We've all had that throat punch moment where you're just like, that's it. I quit. I quit. I'm giving up.
That's the Jesus take the wheel moment.
Yeah. Yeah, to take the wheel moment.
But
and
yes,
yet that gut feeling is something that we turn off.
I've learned to not do that. I've learned to only concern myself with things that I can control. If I have no control over the situation, if I can't change how something is going to happen, or if I can't change the outcome of how something is going to happen, I don't stress about it. I don't worry about it because there's nothing I can do about it. I can send the situation love, but that's all I can do. I mean, I can decide what I'm going to wear tomorrow, but I can't decide what you're going to wear tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's such a great way of putting that.
Yeah. And then the chance is, oh, we're Daph. She's just having a moment. There, we'll politely give her a little mute so that she's not.
She needs the Sandheim.
I was like that last. I was like that last week. I was coughing so bad last week that I actually had to take. I didn't have to. I chose to. I took a blanket and put it over top of my head so I could just keep on coughing.
Wow.
Because it was so hard. It was just so hard. And there was nothing anybody could do but wait for that moment to pass. And that's hard. Because when you had to completely and utterly let go of the outcome, that must have been a great challenge. Because Shauna, Daphne, I don't know if you remember me telling you or not, but Shauna had a hip replacement. Was it?
Two.
It was a replacement, yes? Both
Yeah,
hips replaced.
one in May, and the last one was just end of October.
Incredible. Incredible. The strength and the determination that you had before your surgery I think that there was much more in that experience than you even understand. Because you had to you had to maneuver a medical system that wasn't being friendly to you.
Friendly. There was, let's call it what it is. There was, I don't know if you call it bullying, but by medical teams. I was in the hospital for a week for pain management, all of those things. There was, I made a lot of complaints. Patient services, health advocate's office. I had to advocate for myself. I had to get my doctor to write letters, get new x-rays constantly, and self-advocate, because I wasn't going to live like that for another couple of years, just not doing it. And everyone was, well, you should lose weight. You should do this. You should, what have you done to your body to be like this state already? And it was just progressively getting worse, right? And so that's a blow to your ego and your mindset. But yeah, it's just, again, Regilio came, I met him in the midst of all of this, and total blessing. For better, for worse, sicker and poor has been proved already. And, I even had close friends telling me to delay the wedding. I should be able to enjoy my wedding, enjoy the wedding night, all the things we're supposed to be able to do and have, and, celebrate pain-free. And I was like, that's not about that. This is about love, and this is about the connection. And I don't care if I have crutches at my wedding, and you saw, but it's been a year and a lot of personal growth and physical pain. But to me, that's what life and relationships are about. So you can't grow without having that pain.
No, it's not Ken and Barbie, because if it was Ken and Barbie, none of us would be in a relationship, because I'm a battle axe Barbie sometimes. I don't know if she comes in a box or not.
I'm the Scorpio
bent out
Barbie.
of shape Barbie.
Is there a
More like
Scorpio
Calamity
Barbie? That
Jane.
would be me.
Which Barbie?
Scorpio Barbie.
Scorpio Barbie. Yeah.
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 And then
But
there's
yeah,
Daphne above you. When Daphne overcame her physical, Daphne was in a accident with a truck.
Would you like me to talk about that?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about it? I mean, either or.
No, you talk about it. You talk about it.
Well, when I was 15, I was involved in a near fatal car accident with my mom, and I came back from a massive closed head brain injury. They pardon me, they wanted to harvest my organs that night, but luckily my dad said no.
wow.
They hooked me up to full life support for 2 weeks. When they unplugged me from the full life support, they didn't think that I was going to live, medically speaking. And then when I did, they said she's going to be a vegetable for the rest of her life. So I like to joke, for a carrot, I'm doing not too bad. See, I wore the right color.
Yes, you are. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I mean, I had to learn how to walk, talk, feed myself, dress myself, everything again at age 15. But I'm grateful that it happened then, because I was in the best possible physical shape that I could have been in. And when I was in my coma here, part of my voice, I'm sorry, thank you for your patience. I apologize that I don't know what that coughing thing was. But when I was here in my coma on the 3D plane, I was actually on the other side, unlearning all the limiting beliefs I'd learned in my first 15 years of life. So when I came back and I came out of my coma, I just had to relearn the things that I needed to do. I knew how to do them, but my body couldn't do them. So I had to rewire my brain. Was it easy? No. Would I wish anybody have to go through that? No. But I'm grateful for that experience.
And that's where, when we stop being a dragon slayer, and what I mean by a dragon slayer is just the rock'em sock'em Spirit is showing me that game where there's the two fighters. You push the buttons and they fight, right? Because it's easy to fight. That is our second nature because we've spent so many days and weeks and months of our lives fighting. We fought against the bullies. We fought against the circumstances. That's what makes a warrior so incredibly strong. And that's where all of those bits and pieces, I mean, each of us is an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Each of us. Daphne's got the most incredible crystal jewelry. It is just it's the apple of my eye every day. You always see me wearing it. And I don't leave home without it often. And when I do, I usually go back home and grab a piece. Because I'm like, I'm not going out without this on me.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it works for me is both on a physical level and an emotional level, and I just feel better when I'm wearing it. That ability that she has to create beauty, it's spectacular, and it's so different than what I do, and yet when we work together, we are able to help people massively.
I was going to say exponentially, but
Exponentially. There's that lovely word that I like we're gonna blow it up. But we are so different. And as I'm learning to let go more and more and more of that fierce spirit's like it's like a subconscious, but it's more than that. Subcutaneous is the word that they gave me. Fight. When you're in the kind of relationship that I was in, which was a battered relationship, fighting was all I knew how to do. So now I will still take someone down if I'm in a threatened situation, but I have to realize what a real threat is and what a perceived threat is. Because the real tragedies that come in life, I won't even know when they hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this is another thing too, Nancy. The tragedies that I've been through and the tragedies that you've been through, and you too, Shauna, that has made us the amazing, magical beings that we are to shine our light for others to see that they can do the same.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's where this wonderful word synchrodestiny comes in. I mean, that's like a superhero word. Synchrodestiny. It's
I
just
feel
so
like
cool.
This is like the word that sums up our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when Shauna and I met, Shauna was the executive director for a charity. And I was attracted to the charity because they had an event that was going on in Calgary. And there was a speaker from the Humboldt experience
Mm-hmm.
who was scheduled to speak. Do you remember who that was, Shauna?
Mm-hmm. It'll come to me.
And I had a student that was a Humboldt angel.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't survive. So to be at an event where there was a survivor was very heartfelt for me because Logan wasn't. So I wanted to support. And so I had contacted the founder or the president, I don't know what his position was, and said that I was willing to donate some product for the event. And then the event didn't happen. And then I became a board member. And Karin was a board member as well. Delightful Karin. And everything that was gained from that experience, which is Shauna's and my friendship, was the blessing.
Mm-hmm. All magical.
So magical.
For sure.
Talking about synchrodestiny and you writing your first chapter for Sacred Hearts Rising, Nancy, and me being the bug that's
that was a big one. That was a
I
big
don't know if
one.
Shauna knows
And
that
this
story.
last, I don't know. So back in the year, I don't remember when, I'd have to pull out the book, let's say 7 years ago, Daphne has suggested very kindly that I write a chapter in a book. And I didn't want to.
Mm.
And she would ask again and again and again and again. And I finally said, if I write the damn chapter, will you leave me alone? Yep. So like, fine. So she hooked me up with the author. Oh, no, wrong word. Organizer?
Publisher.
Publisher, thank you. Of the book. And I got an email and it was from Brenda. And Brenda Hammond. And I just about flipped a biscuit because I wanted to know why my ex-husband's new wife was sending me an email. Because all
Oh
I saw
my
was the word
goodness.
Brenda. Right? I'm like,
It's the same.
Brenda? No, different Brenda. Different
Oh, okay.
Brenda. So my father left my mother for a Brenda decades ago. My ex-husband left me for a Brenda. Ralph's ex-wife's name is Brenda. And then along comes this publisher, Brenda. It was like it was so bizarre. And if Daphne would have told me her name was Brenda, I wouldn't have done it. So she didn't. And then I wrote the first chapter, and it was such a guttural experience. I had to lay down on the table everything. Everything. Because if I was going to talk about the death of my daughter, I was so terribly afraid that the fact that I was a crack addict would come out, so I wrote it. All in the same chapter. The death of my daughter and the fact that I was a crack addict. One chapter, bada bing, bada bang. Bold. Yeah.
And
I
now
was
you're writing.
afraid that someone was going to use something against me, so I laid it on the table. I do bold things. Yeah. It's easier for me to do bold things than it is little things. Yep.
Why would you do something
And that's what
small?
the journey to health is. The journey to health is risky.
Mm-hmm.
It's really risky. It's easy to stay stuck. It's comfortable.
Why would you say it's risky, Nancy?
Ooh, Daph's put me on the spotlight now. It's risky because the fabric of your life is built on you being a victim. And all your victim friends show up at the victim party and you all get to talk about the drama and the hard things that you just can't possibly change. And then when you change, you lose friends.
And that's okay.
Yeah, but it's hard.
Why is it hard?
Oh, because of the things they say. Small minds say small things. And then we say, fuck them. And we move on. There she is again, Nancy Nance, saying fuck. Surprise!
This is why we love Nancy, Shauna.
Oh, I know.
Says it like it is.
Yeah, but I do it in this way that's this really super soft, sweet, wonderful fuck you. And then I'm like, but it's necessary. What will you continue to allow in your life? People that are going to pull you down and pull you under while you're trying to rise and shine. I mean, Here I am going through my first combined insurance claim for my arm. My arm that's going to yoga next week. I'm so excited to be hitting the mat.
Just your arm?
But yeah, just my arm. Yeah, just my arm, my neck, my arm, my back. I feel like sometimes I don't like to be that and I put on weight. Oh my God, I've put on so much weight. And it's a challenge because I feel so much stronger than I've ever been before. But my butt, my lovely lady butt, right? And we're judged by our weight.
This is a whole other podcast topic.
Okay, circling back.
That one.
Circling back.
Mm-hmm.
How did you let yourself go, Daphne?
No, circling back. We're circling back. Being on time for life. We got to circle back. That's another podcast, remember?
But we are always on time, aren't we? As long as we're trying.
Yep. One step at a time. That's all we need to do is one step at a time. And sure, maybe we've put on a few extra pounds, but you know what? I feel, like you said, Nancy, I feel the healthiest I've ever felt in my life right now. I feel the strongest I've ever felt in my life right now. And look out, if anybody gets in my way, boy, they'll be sorry. Just saying. Because
right, could you imagine like having one of those friendly snowball fights? There's no snow.
It's snowing right now, I think, isn't it? Colton said it was snowing when he came home.
I hope it does snow before Christmas.
Look at me change the topic there, hey?
Daphne is all about accountability and keeping us on track here.
There's a reason Nancy asked me to be with the show.
My wing chick, my Shanti.
Yep.
Remember? My Shanti. Yeah. My yin, my yang.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the yang to your yang, whatever.
Julia just told me that again this morning.
Pardon me?
Mm-hmm.
Virgilio, my husband, just told me that this morning again, that we are the yin and the yang team.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ralph and I too. If it wasn't for him, I would be well, I'd probably be two sheets to the wind most days. Because it's easy to fall back into patterns. It really truly is. And we reach for things that numb.
So Nancy, what is it that you like to do for yourself to be on time for life?
Oh my goodness. I start my morning with gratitude. Always. As soon as my eyes open, oh, thank you for another day. And all the things in my home that bring me so much love and happiness, and just touching toes with somebody that I love, even if it's just a toe.
Yep.
My children every single day, my health and my wealth. And my health is coming into a different way of being. It's an emotional state of being, first and foremost. My physical health is not a measure because I'm not usually in my physical body. Yeah, very seldom. I have to remember that I'm a human being and not just a light being. And then the reality of bills comes along and, oh, gee.
So Shauna, what is it
I deliberately prepare my day. I have a list of things that I'm going to do every single day, and I don't deviate.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't get done, then they just go to the next day, right?
Yeah.
So, Miss Shauna, what do you do to be on time for life?
About a year and a half ago, I started making a list every night before bed. 3 things that I must do personally and 3 things I must do professionally the next day.
Beautiful.
And must do it. So,
It's very, very rewarding, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'm old-fashioned, old school. I like handwritten checklists.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, it feels so good to just scratch it off.
I'm right there with you. They call me the list queen.
Mm-hmm.
It drives my husband crazy how many lists I have going at one time.
Yeah. And just try to prepare. Like prepare for the next day, whatever it is. Even if it's just recovery from my surgery or health or whatever, right? Like just, be prepared, more prepared for whatever is thrown at us, I guess, and just for the day. Whether it's for business,
And that's
clients,
where
whatever.
that's where preparedness really does help us be prepared
Mhm.
for whatever events come that we aren't prepared for. Shauna, and you don't know this about Shauna. Shauna sells. God, that's such a dirty word, isn't it? But the kind of wellness that you provide for living health, what does that mean? Living health. Like, aren't we supposed to have death insurance and life insurance? But that's not what you do. You provide something that
We're preparing people to be covered for the unexpected in life. We only pass away once,
what?
but how many things are happening unexpected to us? Accident, sickness, many times over.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Right?
times have we gotten into a car accident or cut a finger?
Broken a toe.
My arm. Broken a toe. Food poisoning. Yeah, food poisoning. Food poisoning is covered. That blew my mind when I heard that.
Yeah.
And then all of the big things: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, broken bones. To have something that gives you a little bit of a buffer.
To be with,
buffer.
to take care of yourself or your own responsibilities, but also with loved ones if something actually serious happens, right? Like we all want to be with them, and I can't imagine having to go to work and leaving someone in ICU, right? So that's what it's meant for. Unexpected and
the idea of leaving someone. The idea of leaving someone in ICU. I know my month of December has been a real focus on helping people that are still struggling with the grief in their life. I've got gift boxes and books that I am bringing to friends. Heads up. Because if you've lost a loved one and that person is no longer a presence in your life, Christmas is a challenge. It's hard. We miss them. We miss them so very, very much. They're the empty place at the Christmas tree and the table. They're that whispered word that nobody wants to talk about because you're supposed to get over grief really fast, right? Because you're going to be remembering your father this Christmas, aren't you, Shauna?
Yeah. But I need to write a book about this one. It's like we've lost him twice, right? With how everything played out. So, but yes.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that was in a very similar situation whereby the father of her son passed away. And he wasn't an active part in their lives. He did not provide emotional support, child support, any kind of support whatsoever. But yet the loss still needed to be acknowledged and recognized
Mm-hmm.
for what it was and what it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges right now I'm having with writing a memoir, because I've gone a long way from wanting to poison my ex-husband. And I know it sounds so terrible, but he was allergic to bee pollen, so it would have been really easy to make him a smoothie. And now,
This is recorded.
so when I was with my psychologist and she
Disclaimer.
said to me, "Are you suicidal? Are you suicidal?" And I said, "Nah, more homicidal than suicidal." And she's like, "I'm sorry. Can we discuss that?" And I'm like, "Sure." So she's like, "So tell me about the homicide." And I'm like, "I'm just planning a few things, but I haven't followed through."
And you will never follow through. You will never follow
You're
through.
not that person.
Oh, no. I'm not that person. But when you are in a relationship that sucks the Lord living life out of you, I've got journals still. I'm pulling them out now. Oh, because I've got to write the naughty chapters. So I'm pulling out that angry part of me. And it's really weird because it's like that. Jeanette talks about it, Daphne. The time lapse that we're going through now,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
where the 80s and the 90s are amalgamating with where we are now. So everything that we haven't dealt with in life, it's like, hey,
Yeah, it's coming back just to make sure that we're taking care
here's
of it.
Johnny. Here's Johnny. So if there is a part of you that hasn't resolved, the opportunities are going to come, and they're not going to come in pretty little packages.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how healing happens.
Nope, that's
It's messy.
For sure. It does
It's
hit you when
messy.
you least expect it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have to work our way through it, or we numb. There's a lot of numbing going on in this world right now. We see it on the streets because you're in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a drug problem there, perhaps?
There's a lot of problems here lately.
Yeah. We see it on the corners with the people that are begging. The tents.
There's tents going up in our area, in like an urban area in deep southeast. That Rogelio was telling me about. He was walking Digit one night. There's a family living in a tent in a schoolyard in a corner by our house. A family.
It's not just drug addicts, is it?
No. Everyone, a lot of people are one paycheck away from a tent right now.
And not having a home, not having a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Daphne has known me for a very, very long time. But before Daphne, there was my dear friend Tracy. Tracy was my balm, my comfort, my everything. And I spent many, many days and weeks on her couch after Emily died because I didn't want to be at home. I didn't know how to do alone. And that's why I stayed in the relationship that I was in for over 25 years. I didn't want to do alone. And we judge people. Oh, Judge Judy, man. Gotta lay that shit down. Doesn't help. Doesn't help. So when we see those people that are struggling in our community, because it starts with family, it starts with your children and your aunts and your uncles. That's where it starts first. There's so much that we can do there. And if we can help another, then another helps another, and it becomes that beautiful butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can't afford to help another person, well, we got to look at our foundational beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got enough food in the fridge to bake a cake, bake a cake. And share. It's so much fun sharing. So much fun. There's so much that can be done over the next 22 days. Yeah. 22
I only know
days
that because
till
we did
Christmas.
our advent calendar tonight. We cut up on the last 3 days. So new tradition.
So much fun.
New tradition.
Yes,
for
that's
Regina.
right. You were telling me about that because Virgilio, Daphne, did you know that in Mexico, giving gifts is not part of the
Yes.
Christmas?
They give it
Tell us about that,
around,
Shauna.
yeah, apparently traditionally they don't give gifts. It's just family time, and then around New Year's to Epiphany, the day the wise men showed up with their gifts, is when they give gifts, and only to children.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just learned that last night. So it's a whole new experience for me, because I'm not one to give gifts. Like, I mean, I'd rather travel together, create memories, go do something fun, or go to Banff for the day, that kind of stuff, right? Than spend money on each other. And when he said that, I was like, yes, another reason why I married the perfect man for me.
Right?
Like,
go to Pyramid Lake. That's where I got married. Have you ever been to Pyramid Lake? It's beautiful.
No.
Pyramid Lake is just by Jasper, just north of Jasper. That's where I got married.
Nice. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a fun experience to have another culture in the house, and creating new traditions, and also aligning with my own values that we didn't even really know about, right?
That's awesome.
Because I said to him, let's just spend $10 on Christmas for each other. And he's like, what? And I said, like, I already have something for him from our dog, my dog. But that's what it was. It was going to be fun, right? And then he said that, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is very cool. He'd be happy if I baked him cookies.
There you go.
Time spent with the people that you love.
Mm-hmm.
That is so valuable, because we are struggling. I mean, thank you, JT. Again, another show. I know, Daphne. Actually, it's coming up in January because my dear friend George is going to be on the show.
That's
freedom. Just another word for nothing left to lose. But when we can celebrate the festivities with fabulous friends, because I mean, do you ever do that? Do you ever go through your phone list and think, I'm going to call this person? And you call and you call and you call, and they don't call back. It's hard. But sometimes they just need to go on waivers. There is nobody whose phone call I will not answer. And I say that with the utmost truth. Daphne sometimes will remind me, you don't have to answer that phone call. I'm like, I know. They can leave a message. But I have learned to forgive everybody. Absolutely everybody. And that's a big, big dive. But the more that I forgive, the more that happens in my life in the most fabulous ways. I have so many wonderful friends. So many magical opportunities.
And so many things to be grateful for, and so many more things to be grateful for that continue to come in.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so many. I mean, I'm leaving in less than 2 months on the most magical, dreamy vacation. Things that people would just like, wow, you're gone for almost a month? Yeah, and I'm going with a pretty good guy. Sure, we bicker a bit. We're growing more and more as a couple now than we ever have before. We've
It's
passed the
beautiful.
honeymoon stage, even though we haven't gotten married yet.
It's clear sailing.
We still touch toes. We still touch toes. You know, in those moments where life can be a challenge, because it's been a very challenging couple of weeks. My mom was in the hospital. My son was in a car accident, and Ralph's mother, the anniversary of her birthday, even though she's not here, those are hard times. Those are hard times. And we can hold space. Daphne, what does holding space mean?
Holding space. Wait, throw me on the spot. Being able to be there for a person to not do anything, to just be and listen and hear. I mean, I could look up the definition if you want me to, but it's. I am so grateful to have friends that I can call, like yourself, Nancy, and say, "Look, I'm having a day. I just need to vent. Give me 5 minutes." And then I go, and then I'm done. And that would be you holding space for me, and vice versa. And that's where
And I do nothing. I do nothing to help you in those moments either.
No, you just let me be, and that's what it is. It's about just being there as a sounding board and holding space to do whatever you need to do.
And it costs nothing.
Kindness is free. Sprinkle it everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
It's wonderful that we have so many wonderful people in our lives to be there for us when we need them. I mean, because how many people don't have that? You know, to just be able to think, the people we could count on one hand that we have in our lives that are there. If we called them and said, "Bring the shovel." Just saying.
Well, and then the other friends that go, "What shovel?" I was with Shauna.
What's that?
Oh, Nancy's just making a joke. Exactly. I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't bring a shovel.
Daphne said we need to have. Daphne said we needed to have friends that would bring the shovel.
Oh, yeah.
And then I said, and then friends that we're with while the shovel is being brought to the train station, and then we're at Shauna's house.
I don't know what you're talking about. The shovel at the train station. I was with Shauna.
You know, for years, my dad made me carry around in the back of my trunk a shovel, a sleeping bag, and rope. And for some reason, I had a hammer in the back of my car trunk.
There you go.
Like, it does sound rather
get pulled over by the police. It sounds like a country song. So the hammer was taken out first. I was like, why do I have a hammer in here? I don't even know how it ended up in there. But yeah, the rest of the stuff stayed in there for quite a while. Because, that's what dads do. They make sure when you're driving on gravel roads and country roads that you can dig yourself out. And if you can't, you have a sleeping bag. Right. If you need to pull someone, you have a rope.
A candle.
Yeah.
A candle.
But yeah, it was
Daphne
kind of suspicious.
Daphne and I spent, oh my gosh, Daph, when was that because I got high moment?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, so I have a friend of mine who is a promoter in the United States of America, and she promotes beautiful, beautiful musicians. And there was, I can't even remember the name, but there's How High was a movie. And so I watched it one night and I laughed so hard. Oh my God. I was like 2:00 in the morning and I couldn't sleep. And then Daphne and I spent the next couple weeks after we would say something, it was like that boom, boom, because I got high, And we used to just laugh and nobody knew what we were laughing about. And it was that special bond that you have with friends. And I've been reuniting with high school friends and laughing about the good old days, when we could still wear the clothes that we wore and listen to the music that we listened to. And it's a beautiful experience reconnecting with friends that you haven't spoken to since the good old days. Because you can either wait for a funeral or a wedding.
True story.
Mm-hmm. Can you still wear your clothes from high school?
God, no. I got a breast implant. They don't fit no more.
The only thing I can wear from high school is my earrings. Just saying.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, they're the only things that still
my high
fit.
school clothes. I wish I kept some of my high school clothes,
Probably coming back
Def
into style now.
Leppard. Yeah, you got to buy them again.
Mm-hmm.
So what
80s are
music
coming
did you
back.
listen to in high school? High school music, Daph?
Me? Oh, I was Def
Yeah.
Leppard. I was Def Leppard and Poison and Warrant and
AC/DC.
Judas Priest,
yeah, AC/DC, Motley Crue,
Iron Maiden.
George Strait, Chris Ledoux.
We're the same era here.
Pardon me?
I love
We're the
Dolly
same era.
Parton.
Yeah, Reba McEntire.
I love Dolly Parton.
Reba
Yes,
McEntire,
yes.
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks
A little bit of Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys for sure. Kenny G.
Backstreet Boys, all right.
I like Kenny G.
Okay. Oh my God. Who is the lady from
Whitney Houston?
The East? No. The lady
Mariah
from the
Carey?
East. Larger lady from Canada. From Canada.
No,
large.
Jan Arden.
Rita McNeil.
Rita McNeil. Yes, yes.
Why do I know that? See? Name that tune, I guess.
You're on my team. You're on my team, Shauna.
Oh my God. Right. Do you remember during COVID all those goofy games that we used to play because we couldn't get together in person? We need to do more of that in person. We used to do that. We would get on these group chats and laugh and joke. And I love that we're getting together much more this year. Hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned and told that she can't go out to play. That ain't happening again, boys and girls.
Yeah, watch me.
Family is too important to me. I will do anything for family. My family knows that. I have a beautiful wedding coming up in July with my bonus son. And I am going to be the manager of the Flower Girls. I signed up for that.
I love that.
You're going to love every moment of it.
Oh, I really am. And it's at the rodeo grounds too. So
I should have hired you for my wedding for that. Manager of the brides.
That could be a job.
Oh, hey. It could
Second
be. It
wedding
could be.
will be coming up, for us too.
Right. I was talking to Shauna this afternoon and I asked if Virgilio could help me find a horse, a guitar player, and
a resort.
And an all-inclusive resort.
I'm like, a horse? Are you sure a donkey won't do? I said, what's this horse going to be packing? She's like, me.
Yeah, I don't think a donkey would do.
And Daphne's never been to Mexico.
And Virgilio's up for the task. So, yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we have hire the friends that we have, because we all have such incredible talents. There is no one I trust more in my life than you, Shauna, with my health.
Oh, thank you. And welcome. I trust you with my mental health, I tell you, girl. It's a moment for me to just thank you and say, the day of the wedding, you were my savior. And
was
like
a
the angel
special
cards too, like was crazy.
Yeah, I brought my angel cards so that I could connect her with the people that had passed. Oh my God. Who does
Oh,
that to a bride on her wedding?
but I
You
loved
do?
every minute of it.
And I brought my
Sorry, I'm
light.
laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing. I'm gonna see if they're here. Like, and you
But
know what too?
that's the beauty.
And putting it out there, like I wanted my dad to show up that day. Were you at the wedding before we all arrived? Like we were a little bit late. Go figure. But
It was a day.
but how the deer came walking across.
So
My
beautiful.
dad was a hunter, and like I didn't even know that happened. Apparently there was like deer that walked all the way through right where all the people were sitting. So
Those
and
were
the angel
miracles
cards
that we can
that we
see.
did right that day, that morning was like, oh.
And I read your mom's cards too.
And
Yeah.
she needed one of those specifically for like the last 25 years.
I
Divine
love bringing
timing
my
is
cards with
wonderful.
me.
Yeah.
I've got Daphne and I have a dear friend of ours, Trista. And whenever we have an event, she always saves seeing me for the last minute because she knows I'm not gonna make her cry, but she feels comfortable enough to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I like being that space for people. I really
I'm just
truly
looking.
do.
You took pictures and sent them to me. I just wanted to see the one because
Yeah, I did.
exactly. I remember, and I had goosebumps. I was like, that's what I wrote in my vows. It was exactly what the one angel card said. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I've been reading cards I was doing the math on that because I've put together a course, Tea and Tarot, and I was doing the math on the number of years I've been reading tarot cards, and it's 35 years.
So you started when you were 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love flipping cards, man. It's better than poker. I wasn't very good at poker or 21.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Gotcha.
It's a beautiful experience, and it's not something that I do all perfect. I don't do anything perfect anymore. I gave that up a long time ago. I just do it the way I do it, which is fun. It's much more easy when it's fun. That's why I like coming to the chiropractic office when you're there, Daph.
Because I'm fun.
I just pulled these up, Nance and Daph.
Oh, did you?
Nance and Daph. The 3 cards that day. We are so connected. These were mine. We are so connected. I will always kiss you goodnight. That I wrote that in my vows. And remember me by the happy memories we created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then my mom's was just crazy. I had to leave that way. Yeah. That was the one that was like.
Yeah. And again, it was the first time I'd met your mom, and I was so I was so hesitant to bring the cards because the angels are like, bring the cards, bring the cards. I'm like, not a fucking chance, buddy. Right?
To a wedding?
So I talked to my angels. I'm like, no way. They'll think I'm crazy. And I'm like, well, you are. So just embrace it.
Yeah. No,
embrace that special kind of crazy that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I met so many wonderful people at your wedding, and I love how the flowers that you gifted me are right next to Emily's picture. They're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful how the synchronicities of life bring people together and build amazing relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have support in life. We have a lot of support in life. We can call up that someone. Who are you going to call? It's the same sort of thing, Ghostbusters. But we've got friends. And hopefully you have 5. I always say to have 5 because some just might not be available. And I honor that.
It's and quality versus quantity, because it's it's one of those things over the years, you soon realize, like you said, you will always answer your phone. A lot of people don't. Right?
No.
So yeah. Nowadays, people think if you call them twice in a row, they think there's a major emergency, right? They're like, can't you just text me?
Oh, I know. We've gotten into a weird world. I messaged a dear friend of mine. I had this I know it's been a long time, but I've got this thing coming up and I'd really like you to be a part. I mean, it was just like, so carefully written in a rather professional corporate way. And then I sent it and I got this, call me. So I did. And Kevin said to me, when will you begin to be the person that you need to be instead of the person that you think everybody expects you to be?
Ooh.
Today, and I haven't turned back since.
Wow.
I will be the person that I need to be instead of the person that everyone expects me to be, because I don't know what you need. I just don't know. And that's so hard to try and figure out. It's exhausting.
So is that the challenge you're going to put out, Nancy, moving forward? That we all just be the people that we need to be.
Yeah, that's it. Next week, Daphne, do you remember who we got?
We got Kelly Wolf coming on.
Yeah, she's going to be talking about getting rid of negativity in the mind.
Kelly Wolf.
And then tomorrow on the Mental Health Warriors, I've got a dear friend of mine who is he's like this leadership leader, a leader in leadership. His faith is just enamorous. It did snow, Daphne. Squirrel. It snowed. I'm going to go play in the snow in the morning. I'm not doing a snow angel. Maybe.
How much snow are you guys getting?
I have no idea. I haven't looked outside.
It's on the roof. Roof
is state.
Roof. Wow.
Roof. There it is. Yeah, no, it's on there. It's there.
Goodness gracious.
Makes a great margarita, my friend.
You're hilarious.
Snow. You just take the cup and you scoop it. It does.
It's like an adult snow cone.
Yeah.
I'm coming to your house.
She's on the fourth floor,
though. Yeah. Well, and you know what? There is so much that we can do in this festive time to save a place at the table for those who are no longer with us while celebrating those who are. Yeah. So, hasta la vista.
On that note, thank you, Shauna.
Thank you.
Putting up with me because I've never met you before, but thank you for allowing me to be on your show. Nancy.
Yeah. I am definitely a bundle of joy and many things.
Yes, you are.
Thanks, guys. It was a blast.
Thank you, ladies.
It was awesome. A blast. I love you to the moon and back so much.
See you later.
Okay. Love you guys. Take care.
Take care. I gotta hit this button a few times before it actually goes